2 days after the trouser incident, Professor Bumbleton returned to his laboratory with a mission. He was going to conduct the most important experiment of his career, a definitive test of his new theory regarding the elasticity of time in microgravitational fields. It was, he firmly believed, the kind of research that won Nobel Prizes. His laboratory was a magnificent disaster zone. Every surface was covered in papers, beakers, half-eaten biscuits, 3 umbrellas, none of which he could remember acquiring, a taxidermied badger named Gerald Jr., and approximately 47 coffee mugs in various stages of emptiness. A small fern named Aristotle sat in the corner, looking deeply unhappy. "Good morning, Aristotle," Bumbleton said cheerfully, patting the fern. "Today is the day we make history." Aristotle rustled his leaves in what Bumbleton chose to interpret as enthusiasm. He had one laboratory assistant, a 23-year-old PhD student named Kevin Dimple, who had applied to work under Bumbleton for reasons that had seemed perfectly logical at the time and now seemed completely insane. Kevin was a thin, anxious young man who carried a notebook everywhere and had developed a nervous twitch in his left eye that had begun on his very first day in the lab. "Professor," Kevin said, consulting his clipboard, "just to confirm, today we're testing the temporal elasticity hypothesis using the modified oscillation chamber?" "Precisely, Kevin. You've got it exactly right. Bring the oscillation chamber." "Which one is the oscillation chamber?" Bumbleton gestured broadly at the cluttered workbench. "The silvery, cylindrical thing with the dials." Kevin looked at the workbench. There were, by his count, 7 silvery cylindrical things with dials. "Could you be more specific?" "The one that hums." Kevin picked up the nearest silvery cylinder and held it to his ear. It did, faintly, hum. "This one?" "Ah, yes. Perfect. Now, we need to calibrate it to exactly 7.3 megahertz. Not 7.2, not 7.4, 7.3. This is very important, Kevin. The fate of my entire theory depends on it." "Understood. 7.3. Right. I'm going to pop to the bathroom while you do that. Back in 2 minutes." Kevin nodded and began carefully calibrating the device. He was extremely precise. He double-checked his work. He was, in fact, so focused on being precise that he did not notice when Bumbleton returned from the bathroom, picked up what he thought was his coffee mug, and took a long sip of what turned out to be a beaker containing a solution of sodium bicarbonate, food coloring, and a small amount of vinegar that Kevin had been using as a cleaning agent. The resulting reaction was spectacular. Bumbleton's eyes went wide, his cheeks puffed out. A sound emerged from him that could only be described as a cross between a foghorn and a surprised cat. A small geyser of foamy liquid erupted from his mouth and drenched the oscillation chamber, the taxidermied badger, Aristotle the fern, and approximately 3 square feet of extremely important research notes. Kevin stared. Aristotle rustled. Gerald Jr. the badger glistened. "That," said Bumbleton, wiping his chin thoughtfully, "was not my coffee." "No, Professor." "What was it?" "Sodium bicarbonate solution." "Ah." A pause. "Does it have any long-term health effects?" "Not really. It's basically baking soda." "Splendid." Bumbleton examined the soaked research notes. "You know, Kevin, I believe the most revolutionary scientific discoveries often emerge from unexpected circumstances. Has anything been discovered just now, Professor?" Bumbleton stared at the fizzing, drenched badger. "Not yet, but I feel we're very close."